What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 289 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie, and welcome to the War Room, where we have been for 289 episodes, riding out the pandemic, mourning the loss of WAAF, and you guys have been with me all through the creation of the Mistress Carrie podcast, getting back on the radio, all the events that we've done. All of the craziness has all happened right here in the War Room. If you are new to the War Room, if you are just joining us for the first time, first of all, welcome to the War Room. It's a room in my house where all of my military memorabilia is, all of the stuff that I brought back from my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. And, well, it's where the bar is, which is exactly why we've been hanging out here since March 14th of 2020. So welcome, the War Room family, the OGs, as they have nicknamed themselves, would like to welcome you properly. So if you're new to the War Room, whether you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube, chime in the comments. Let us know that it's the first time you're watching and where you're watching from so that we can welcome you properly. You could also go to mistresscarrie.com. Go to the blog section or just the Cocktails in the War Room section right on the front page. And there is a link there called The Dictionary, which for anybody that is new to the War Room is there to help catch you up with all of the glossary terms and, fill you in on all the inside jokes so that we're not leaving anybody behind. We got to say what's up to Dina and Justin, Michael Cole and Penny, Travis and Elsa, Jessica and Kevin. Buster's Billiards are joining us. Mark Bish is here, Melissa, and just keep the comments coming, guys. This is a very special episode of Cocktails in the War Room tonight because we have a war room full of people. So first, I want to apologize for not being here last week because the voice was absolutely shot after Silver Scream Con. I learned my lesson, and the last few days at the Xfinity Center, I went and saw Korn with Gojira and Spirit Box, who was great. The night before in Boston, I went and saw Skillet, Seether, Tim Montana, and Royal Lynn, which was great. But I didn't have to cancel the War Room tonight because the voice is actually working. So I want to introduce you guys to everybody that's here in the War Room right now because we have a very big event happening on Saturday night. My birthday is next Tuesday. And so these guys are all helping me celebrate my birthday on Saturday night. So Jimbo is sitting right over here with Wednesday. Howdy. And if anybody's new to the War Room, the dog is the co-host. Yes. Jim's sitting in Wednesday's spot.
I actually chose this seat. She said, where's everyone to sit? I go, where's the dog going?
Yeah, where's the dog going? So there she is. So Jim actually does sound for Rotten Apple, but most importantly, you guys will remember his name because Jim from RPM Dynamics, along with Sean from Rotten Apple, are the ones that helped me build MCHQ, which you guys know is the studio where the podcast and the radio shows and all of that happen. So Sean is from Rotten Apple, the band that's playing the Birthday Bash on Saturday night at Rascals in Worcester. And next to him is Dimitri, who is also in Rotten Apple. Dimitri, the microphone's like literally blocking your whole face.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm like...
So first of all, welcome to the War Room, guys.
Yes, finally.
Thank you.
You guys have come to like live events that we've done in other places.
Yes.
But you have not come to the War Room before, so
it's
now you're here for the actual show.
It's very nice in here.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
It's an honor to be here, sitting here doing this.
Definitely.
I may have had a cocktail in this room.
The cable manager
in the past,
is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cable manager.
So Jim, being a professional sound guy right over here, he was so meticulous when he built MCHQ. Anal retentive doesn't even touch, which I love, right? But the War Room, as you guys know, is lean and mean. We get in here, we do the show, and we get out. It's not where I don't leave all of the equipment set up like I do in MCHQ. So as I was setting up all the cameras and all of the microphones, Jim was literally twitching because the cameras looked like I spilled a pound of spaghetti on the floor. And he is just he's a professional sound guy. He just got off tour working with Stone Temple Pilots and live. The War Room floor right now is literally his worst nightmare.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
But it is not.
But Jimbo is about to explode.
It's not that good either. Yeah, exactly.
Where do I look at you, Carrie? Do I do this?
I know. I'm just.
No, just look in the camera.
Oh, that's right. I can
Yeah,
look
there's a
right
camera, right? Just look in the camera. That way everybody can see you.
I can see. Hi.
We to everybody watching here in the War Room look like a small version of the Brady Bunch with all of the squares. Like Sean's down there, Jim's over there, Dimitri's.
I'm pointing at Sean right now, right?
Yeah.
Is
that the right way? Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to let you guys know that you can go to rottenapple-usa.com to get all of the details on the big bash, and on the screen is the flyer. So first of all, thank you. Well, thank you guys for coming to the War Room, but also thank you guys for playing the big birthday bash this weekend.
This is, I'm so excited.
very,
More
very
than you
exciting.
are for your birthday.
Our pleasure, Carrie.
Yeah.
We have had many serious conversations here in the War Room about embracing life, celebrating life, embracing aging, because we've all lost so many people younger than we should have lost them. And so I have always been a believer that your birthday is something that you should celebrate. And not just like a, hey, happy birthday. Like, birthdays were meant to have cake and songs and friends and cocktails, and to get the people together that you love and want to spend time with, because you don't know if that's going to be the last time you see people. And so we've talked about it all the time about when you get together with those friends, take pictures too. You guys know I am obnoxious about taking selfies with everybody and always taking photos, because how many times have you wished, oh man, I wish I took that picture. Oh, I wish I took that picture. So I'm hoping that people use the birthday bash as an excuse to get those friends together that maybe you haven't seen in a while. It's on a Saturday night. It's in Worcester at Rascals. Justin Jordan's going to open up for you guys. And then you guys are playing. And for anybody that doesn't know, Rotten Apple, how do you describe yourselves? The premier Alice in Chains tribute band?
North
How do you guys?
America's premier tribute to Alice
We
in
expanded
Chains.
to the USA. The entire.
USA.
Yeah.
Well, it is USA, but worldwide.
So there's a couple anniversaries today when it comes to albums. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about this. 34 years ago today, Megadeth released Rust in Peace. And 33 years ago today, Blood Sugar Sex Magic and Nevermind came out on the same day.
Wow.
33?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yikes.
the list of bands that released seminal albums in 1994 is ridiculously long. I mean, Jim, you just got off the road with Live and Stone Temple Pilots. They were celebrating the 30th anniversary of Throwing Copper and Purple, which are two more amazing albums that came out in 1994.
That was incredible. My friend Eric called me up, and he had a conflict moving over to do monitors for Gojira.
Sound guy, get up close to the microphone.
So my friend Eric called me and said, "Hey, I got to jump over to Gojira. Can you come in and cover some front of house gigs for me?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Who's it for?" And he said, "Live." And I went, "Oh my God, that's one of those bands that you're just excited to go get mixed because the songs meant so much back in the day."
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
I had Robert DeLeo and Ed Kowalczyk on a bonus episode of the podcast together talking about the Jubilee tour. That was the tour that you were
it was
on.
awesome.
And I asked Robert DeLeo, what's a song by Live that you wish you wrote? He said, I Alone. And I asked Ed Kowalczyk, what song of Stone Temple Pilots do you wish you wrote? And he couldn't hold the answer from flying out of his mouth. He said, Interstate Love Song, like it's not even a question.
Right.
Ed Kowalczyk said that is one of his favorite songs from the entire decade of the 90s. And he's like, every time I hear it, if I'm in the car or whatever, like it's that song. So I brought up those albums that are celebrating their anniversaries today because I don't know if you guys saw the docu-series on Paramount Plus. It's called Nothing But a Good Time. Have you guys seen this doc yet?
No.
So it's a 3-part documentary that charts the birth, the rise, the fall, and the end of the 80s heavy metal scene on the Sunset Strip. And obviously the kill shot was Nevermind, which was 33 years ago today. And it goes through like, you know, the guys in Motley Crue and Hanoi Rocks and goes through all of that stuff. And then it goes through kind of Guns N' Roses, how it kind of, they were more substance than hair. And then obviously Beavis and Butthead killing Winger's career. And then Nevermind coming out. And it had the guys from Winger on there. And it legitimately killed their career, putting the nerdy kid in a Winger t-shirt on Beavis and Butthead. The next week, their tour got canceled. They talk all about it in the docuseries because Winger became a punchline. Oh. Because of Beavis and Butthead, and it literally overnight killed their careers. And it was a really interesting documentary. And for me, when grunge hit, this is why I wanted to ask you guys, because of Alice in Chains, I got into Soundgarden and Alice in Chains before I got into Nirvana and Pearl Jam. Because to me, they bridged the metal gap to grunge more than Pearl Jam and Nirvana.
Absolutely.
Huh. Yeah.
I think that there's a line between, Alice in Chains Soundgarden fans and Pearl Jam and Nirvana fans. It's like I was always Alice Soundgarden.
And I love them all. Don't get me wrong, but
I really do.
But Soundgarden and Alice in Chains to me are a different type of grunge.
Absolutely.
My experience is weird. I went to go see Clash of the Titans up in Cumberland County Civic Center in Portland, Maine, way back when. And I went in, I got into the venue, and all of a sudden, Alice in Chains hit, and it was just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And I just stopped, and I was glued to the stage, and the other bands played, but I had no idea what I had just listened to, and just said, that is one of the coolest bands I've ever heard in my life. And from that point on, I was just addicted.
I saw Soundgarden open up for Guns N' Roses at the old Worcester Centrum. And you guys know, I think we all know, every singer is capable of having an off night. And especially early on, Chris Cornell could have a great night and be the best singer you've ever seen. But back then, he wasn't taking care of his voice or himself. And he had a really off night. And I remember walking out of there going, I don't think the Soundgarden band's going to stick around. Obviously, I was wrong. And the next time I saw them, he was flawless. And the Chris Cornell, we all know him to be that legend. But yeah, that Guns N' Roses tour was a little rough for Cornell that night. But I always loved Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. So, Dimitri, you're the singer of Rotten Apple.
That's right.
So can you talk to me about the weight of singing Lane songs? Because, talk about just diving into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, as far as like singing Lane, for me, it comes naturally. It's taken a while, I'm learning different techniques to like compression and all that and head voice, but I don't know. I love singing Alice in Chains, and ever since I saw Alice in Chains at the Channel in 1992. That was my first show. It was right before Dirt came out, and it was right before they blew up because they couldn't play at the Channel after, 3 months later. There's no way.
The Channel's the only place that ever let me in underage when I moved to Boston to go to college. The Channel always let me in underage, which, thank you. I appreciate that.
We went to see that show. It was grunt rock, Screaming Trees, and Alice. And it changed my life. And now that we've started Rotten Apple, we've emulated that set. Our set is pretty much emulated after that night, so a lot of those, that whole night was just incredible for me. So it changed my life.
What's the hardest song for you to sing from Alice in Chains? Because Lane does some insane stuff with his voice.
He does. He did. I would say probably Love, Hate, Love, the screams, and Love, Hate, Love, probably and I love getting to that part because it's just the crescendo of that.
See, I don't hear the difficulty when you do that.
Oh, you don't?
No, I really don't.
It's I love. I can't. It's awesome when I get to that part, just to belt. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Did you guys see that interview with Robert Plant that goes around the internet every now and again? An interviewer asked Robert Plant, he was like, look, there's 100 singers all across the United States right now in Led Zeppelin cover bands. What advice would you give the guy that's singing your parts? Did you ever hear his answer?
No.
Try to dress.
Do you know what that means?
Totally
No.
know what that means.
I don't.
When you, whatever side you're putting your cash and
jump.
prizes in your pants.
You got to make sure it's to the right.
Because we all know exactly how Robert Plant dresses in his pants because they literally were spray painted on him in the 70s. And the interviewer just looked at him like, I don't even know how to respond to this.
I mean, yeah.
So I just thought it was the most rock and roll answer
That is
like
totally
ever.
rock and roll.
I want to get to some of the comments that people are saying. Fred says Soundgarden was the best. Long live Chris Cornell, says Penny. Never got into grunge, says Travis. Travis, I'm telling you, if you're going to get into grunge, I'm telling you, you'll probably like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden more, just because to me, it's just so freaking heavy. We got to say what's up to Ralph. He commented, said he's watching from the hospital, recovering from a quadruple bypass after a heart attack. Ralph, we are sending you all the love in the world.
Get
For
well
anybody
soon,
that's
man.
new to the War Room, this is one of the things that we talk about in the War Room is that we're not just here for the party, but we're also here to support everybody through all the hard things that they go through. You guys have, talked me through some of the worst things in my life over the last 4.5 years. So this is like a support group. It is a place where we gather to talk about real stuff. And Chris says, looking good, Sean.
Which Chris? Is it male or female?
It's Chris Courier.
I'm kidding.
Jessica
I think-
wants to know how my mom is doing. It's a lot of the same. I appreciate you guys every week asking how mom is doing. She is well taken care of. She is happy, blissfully unaware of her illness. For anybody that's new, my mom was diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. We talk about it all the time. Something that a lot of people in our generation are going to be dealing with as our parents get older. And so we've spent a lot of time talking about how to prepare for these things, estate planning, getting with lawyers for medical proxies, power of attorneys, all of that stuff. Bish says, Man in the Box got me into rock and roll. Well, if you're going to have an entrance song, that's a pretty damn good one.
That is.
Brett says, I wanted to see Alice in Chains at Woodstock 94, but they canceled. So we just celebrated the 30th anniversary of Woodstock 94. You guys know I was there. And they actually added other bands to the lineup because Lane Staley at that point was too sick. And they pulled off of. But if you go back and watch the performances, Jerry Cantrell was there and jumped up on stage with Porno for Pyros, I want to say. So Cantrell was at Woodstock 94. It's just that Alice in Chains didn't play. Wednesday is in heaven tonight, says Melissa. Everyone is paying attention to her. Oh yeah, trust
Jimbo's
me.
giving her a lot of love.
Dimitri's over there talking about the nuances of singing Lane Staley's vocals, and she's squeaking the squeaky margarita. Like, Bish says, Don't Follow is my favorite Alice in Chains song. It's such a good one.
It's a great song.
Very pretty song.
So Jerry Cantrell's new solo album, I Want Blood, comes out October 18th. He says that this is some of his best songwriting, guitar playing, and singing that he's done in his career, which that's a high bar. Like, does he not know the songs he's already written?
Have you watched the interview with Rick Beato?
I don't think so. No.
It's amazing. You
Is it
gotta
a
watch
recent thing?
It's recent. It just came out
It was last week, right?
just
Not even
like
a week ago.
Why? What was
7
he?
days
What was he
ago.
talking about?
It's just that. Am I saying Rick's name? Beato?
Beato.
Yeah,
Eric
correct.
Beato.
I didn't know if it was Beato or Beato. It's Beato.
we'll
I think
call
it's
him
Rick
Beato
Beato.
tonight,
Anyway, he's a huge fan of Alice in Chains, and it was like he was just very honored to have Jerry, and it was a great interview. Jerry talked a lot about the different stage, and now he's getting into his solo stuff. And I mean, it was just awesome to hear him talk about some of the things that he did. And, when Facelift came out, and the single that was going to drop was Man in the Box, and everybody was like saying, "Oh my God, you're saying Jesus Christ." And Jerry's like, "It's the fucking single that's coming out, so shut up." He didn't really give a shit.
Talk about a song that bridges metal and grunge,
It's
right?
amazing.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's the
it's-
perfect song.
It really is. It's an unbelievable song. And yeah, it was a great interview. You got to check it out.
I had him on the podcast, and first of all, Jerry Cantrell, I know you guys are, or at least Dimitri is a big fantasy football guy. Jerry Cantrell runs like a rock star fantasy football league. Like Vinnie Paul used to be in it. It's a very exclusive league of all rock stars because Cantrell is a diehard football fan. He's a Seahawks fan, obviously, being from Seattle, but he knows the game. He knows the players. He knows all of that stuff. But one of the cool things that he talked to me about was like the riff ideas, and that while a guy like Zach Wilde told me that Zach will sit down, work on a riff, and see that riff through to a completed song before he'll go on to something else. I've never really interviewed anyone else that works in the process that Zach does, where he gets a riff idea and literally chases it all the way down the rabbit hole until the song is done so that he can leave it and go on to the next thing. But Cantrell told me that he's one of those guys that sings riff ideas into the notes of his phone.
Had thousands in his phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was actually part of the interview. He said he just comes up with riffs and he'll store it. He'll think about it, sing it, put it in his phone, and then when it comes time to putting stuff together, he'll just go into that file bank and just start pulling out all these riffs and
the whole
create
Zach
stuff.
thing kind of blew my
It's
mind.
unreal. What?
With Zach, he does it on the fly. He doesn't even think about the record until he sits in the recording studio. And
Yeah,
then
he just
the
writes
song.
songs. But he's so militant about the craft. The way that he was explaining it to me was that it's like a dog with a bone. He has to finish it and then put it away, whether or not it makes a Black Label Society record or whatever, but it's a finished idea. Whereas like Slash told me that he always has a guitar with him, so he'll play into his phone, whereas Cantrell will sing the riff into his phone.
Which is cool.
Yeah, so it's really interesting to
Really
see
cool.
how these guys kind of craft and store these ideas. And it's always funny to bring up the cloud because I'm always like, can you imagine the brilliance that's in Cantrell or Slash's phone that we don't even know about, these amazing riff ideas that like we just don't even know if they're ever going to become songs or not, but they're just living in the phone. And then if the phone died,
That's like the Prince story. Did you hear the Prince story?
which one?
So Prince's estate, when he was alive, obviously, would go in and track an idea and work on a song, and he would make a CD, bring it to his car.
Oh, you heard that on my podcast.
Oh, I heard it on your podcast.
Yes!
That's how I heard it.
Yeah, that he would go and listen to it. Now, I have asked other people if that's true.
Yeah.
And Prince, I guess, was an environmentalist. So people that knew Prince don't believe the story that he used to flick the discs into the lake behind Paisley Park.
Okay.
Because they don't believe that he would have polluted the lake that way by flicking the discs. But yeah, that Prince was one of those guys that liked to listen. And a lot of bands are like that. Sean, you've been in so many different bands and been writing songs for decades.
It's going to sound good in the car.
Yeah.
It has to sound good in the car.
Why the car?
Because that's where you hear your stuff. I mean, you're gonna hear it on the radio. I mean, the automobile is built. Well, you'd like to think it was, but you want the sound quality is supposed to be there. So that's the almost worst case scenario that you're going to hear your song at, and you want to make sure it prints properly. Across the spectrum. I mean, do you agree, Jimbo? I mean,
I think that the car is super important. You want to listen in multiple environments, but the car, it's just one of those things that you put it in there.
It's your car.
Something's wrong there. You just know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you go,
Take your favorite band and you listen to it in your automobile.
Yeah, we did.
And you're like, what it's
the-
supposed to sound like, and then you hear your song.
We did the promo video for Rotten Apple, and I did the mix, and it was the third rendition of that mix, just changing things, running out to my truck, and that's what's on the
Right.
That's what's
So,
on the promo.
I mean, we're
thing
talking
now.
about your favorite albums ever. The sound guy, the engineer, the producer, the band themselves left multi-million-dollar studios, soundproof booths, and went into the parking lot and listened to those records in the car.
Yep.
Because that's their environment.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the other things that we were talking about on the air today was some of the most epic debut albums in rock ever. Debut albums, right? So these were some of the ones that came off the top of my head. There's the first record from Boston. Speaking of grunge, there's Pearl Jam's 10. There's Hybrid Theory. There's Appetite for Destruction.
Sure.
Are there any that pop into your head? Like Jagged Little Pill from Alanis Morissette?
that
Oh,
one's
what we're
epic.
saying,
That was
Facelift
epic.
is another one,
Yeah, Facelift, exactly.
right?
Yep.
Facelift. Live. I mean, the first, that was pretty epic.
Wednesday's hitting me with pillows over here. What?
Oh my God, she's
Yeah, she's out of her mind.
out of her mind.
What about sophomore albums? What would you say is your favorite sophomore album?
Man,
Mine is simple. Slave to the Grind.
that's a great
That was my
follow-up to
favorite
that
fall
first.
album. It came from pop, like mainstream, and I heard it. And as soon as I heard the beginning, I went, "What the?"
That's the first
was-
CD I ever owned.
Yep.
Because all my
What a
music
great
before
album.
Slave to the Grind was on cassette. And that was the first album I got on an actual CD. It was like,
Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet.
that's the third record.
I was going to say.
I mean,
That's
back
the third one. Oh,
yes,
that's right.
there was there was Bon Jovi, then there was 7800 Fahrenheit, and then there
right.
was Slippery and Wet. Not that I was a Bon Jovi
How about
stalker. in high school.
Pyromania?
Pyromania's not that's
Wasn't that
third.
second? Was that second? No.
It's High and
High
Dry
and
and
Dry?
On Through the Night.
High and Dry, yeah.
Yeah, Pyromania was third, and then Hysteria was fourth. Back in the day when a band could have barely any success and the label would go make another record. Go make another record. Now, if you don't have success off the first record, they might let you make a second, but you're not going to get to Slippery When Wet. You're not going to get to Pyromania.
I mean, unless it crushes.
Well, that's what I mean. But if the first two aren't successful,
Right.
and not showing improvement, and now all of the markers of social media and TikToks and YouTube followers, if all those things aren't on the uptick, you're not going to get to that third record. And how many bands? The third record was
Right, the one that did it.
yeah.
Survival.
It's even hard to get to the
What was
first album now.
AC/DC's first record? Was
Oh, that's a great question.
it wasn't Highway to Hell, obviously, with Bon Scott. It had to be something before that, right?
God, can we consult the Google machine?
Oh my God, there's so many people so mad at you guys right
I
now.
know, seriously. I'm not even looking at
sorry.
the comments. Should I look at them?
Will says Bruins are up 2-0. Thank you for the updates.
Nice.
Appreciate
Very nice.
that.
Nice bees.
Let's see. Bruce Springsteen's birthday is today. He's 75 years old.
That's crazy.
75.
Yeah, which is just
And still going strong. I think he's doing like 3-hour shows still, right?
there. So they just released the trailer for a documentary that's coming out about his behind the scenes putting together of the big comeback tour after COVID. And it's all about being in the studio, him crafting a new set list, wanting it to be rock focused and heavy, and all about the behind the scenes of Springsteen and why he believes that even writing records isn't really what his calling is, that he believes his calling is to play live. It's going to be on Hulu, and it's either Apple or HBO, but it just came out today. It's a Bruce Springsteen documentary. They just released the trailer today, coinciding with his 75th birthday. And it's insane that he still looks the way that he does.
Right.
Let's see. One of the best and most underrated collaborations was Right Turn, says James. Let's see. Flicking the discs, add that to the dictionary, says Bish. Let's see. That's what happens with the dictionary is that, the cookie pocket, Wednesday's cookie pocket, sounds dirty, not, but it sounds dirty. Kevin joining us in Winchester, Kentucky. What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, buddy.
Let's see. Candlebox, the first Candlebox
yeah,
record.
yeah.
Great
Mary,
record,
that's
yes.
a great one.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's see.
Awesome.
Dan Chandler is joining us in the comments
Danny
saying fight or
Chandler.
flight in the comments.
Oh,
I think I may have to
there it is.
agree.
Of course.
Yes.
A little bit with that. Hi, Danny. How are you?
Yes. Let's see. The Evanescence record, I said. Gary Clark saying sophomore Led Zeppelin 2 all day long.
Yep.
Yes.
Rage Against the Machine, Brett saying in the comments, absolutely.
Yes.
Eric Larson says, shit, I'm late. Eric, you missed there's a lot of people in the war room tonight. You're missing a lot. Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 as those technically are the sophomore Guns N' Roses. I mean, if you're going to follow up Appetite for Destruction, doing it with Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. AC/DC Jailbreak, says Ralph.
Yep.
Carrie, a non-John Bon Jovi stalker, Bon Jovi themselves. Look, okay, fine. One of my teenage girl fantasies, and I've joked about this many times on the show because the sun rose and set over John Bon Jovi's hair and chest, was that I always dreamed that John Bon Jovi's tour bus would get lost on its way to the Worcester Centrum and have to stop at my house and ask for directions. The fact that I lived at the end of a cul-de-sac did not matter to me, that bus was never coming down my road. But I always was like, oh, could he get lost in my neighborhood?
You get detour signs and you're like, road's
Something.
closed. You have to go this way.
Yeah, exactly. Bruins are up 4-1 now. Fantastic.
Ooh, nice.
Sean Rush
The
just
bees.
played with Bruce this past weekend, says Keith Lewis, joining us here in the War Room.
Which
Louis.
Keith Lewis?
Is it
Louis?
Erin says the Springsteen doc debuts on Hulu October 25th. Of course, she would know that. Thank you very much, Erin. Kimberly says, love you, Mistress Carrie. Slave to the Grind was good, but listen to the first album. Look, the first Skid Row record is fantastic.
Amazing.
But when you debut at that level of success, like Pearl Jam releasing Versus, because they released 10 as a debut album, like following that up, how do you follow up Appetite for Destruction? How do you follow up the first Boston record? Like,
Right.
how do you even attempt to climb a mountain taller than Everest? It's like there isn't one. How do you do that? How do you even try? Bands have figured it out, but they've also talked about the pressure of that level of success so early, and that everybody thinks, oh, you're just going to write another Appetite for Destruction. And it's like, you guys are musicians. You've been around musicians. The concept of writing another Appetite for Destruction, it's like, it's not possible.
Well, it's that they always say your first record, you have your entire life to write.
Yeah.
And then number 2, forget it. I mean, you get whatever that album cycle is to get it squared away, and people lose their minds. That's tough.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Alice, for example, Facelift was amazing, but then they come out with Dirt.
Ugh.
Dirt has to be one of the best rock albums. Again, it has.
Sure.
You have to have that. It's got to be up there with all of them.
You know, it's another is A Cry of Love, brother.
Oh my God,
That
I
album.
love that
Oh
record.
my
Yes. That's a great album.
That was a great. You know how how I discovered those guys? I was listening to BCN, right, Carrie?
Why did you just say that?
Sorry.
Why did you just say
I'm
that?
not gonna
Something
lie.
just flickered in here.
No, so
I think
so
the lights just flickered.
I had a paper route, but I was an adult, so I was the guy driving around at 3 a.m. and the DJ came on and said, "Hey, I'm going to play this song. Can you first one to call in?" Nobody's awake, so I called. I rushed to the phone. I did whatever, and I think did I pull over? I think I had a cell phone back then, my brick, and I called the station and I won tickets to see Cry 11. I didn't know who they were, and it was like the next night at the Paradise. I walked in. I went all by myself. And they literally decapitated me.
Yep.
It was the best show, the best record. Oh,
That record is
I got
just
chills.
cool.
Jim says in the comments, Dirt is Alice in Chains' Sgt. Pepper's.
Oh. I kind of like that. That's a cool way to look
Debbie
at it.
thinks
Absolutely.
the BCN reference in the War Room is hilarious. You're not the only one, Debbie. It's probably the first time those call letters have been uttered under this roof ever. Another sick debut album, says Mary, is Tonic Lemon Parade, which was hugely successful. Like the guys in Candlebox. Oh, the first Collective Soul record.
Oh, that's right. That
With
was a great
Shine
one.
and all of those songs on it. Speaking of Woodstock 94, let's see. Hey, if it fits, says Jonathan. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it was really interesting because when you're talking, if you guys watch this 3-part docuseries, it's called Nothing But a Good Time. It does talk a little bit about Skid Row and Bon Jovi and like Cinderella, but they were East Coast hair. It was almost like the hip hop thing. There was East Coast and West Coast. The West Coast stuff coming off the Sunset Strip was the, Crew, Poison, Rat, all of those guys. And then they interviewed Nuno Betancourt on the documentary, and he was like, we were up in Boston with a horn section. Nobody knew what the hell to make of us, which was totally true.
Totally true.
And I don't look at Extreme or Tesla as being bands that belong in the hair discussion. I just don't think that they belong there.
They
Tesla?
they had hair. But it wasn't. They weren't rocking it like the. It wasn't the same.
Yeah, no, I look at them more as being either like straight ahead blues based, or in Extreme's case, like funk rock almost.
Yeah, it was like, sure.
Yeah.
But the horns definitely separated them.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like hey folks, a shout out to all of you awesome people, says Michael Grady.
Michael Grady.
Michael.
Speaking of horns.
Matt Bishop says, I was at Woodstock 94 too. Yeah, I still every once in a while, think about the mud, and I'm like, "Bleh." That's a good question for you guys, because we're talking so much. Yes, I think it was mud. Because it's not very often that I have a war room full of musicians. And yes, we're going to get to all of the other stuff that we got to talk about in the war room, because there's a ton of stuff to talk about. But best concert you've ever had. I always say Woodstock 94. Best show I have ever seen. Soup to nuts. I was with the best people. The lineup was everybody from Joe Cocker and Peter Gabriel to Metallica and Nine Inch Nails and Green Day and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jackal and Candlebox. If you look up the lineup of Woodstock 94, it was ridiculous. But overall, that concert experience was the best concert experience of my life. What's the answer to that question for you guys?
Do we have to? It doesn't have to be national. I mean,
no. Just any concert. It could be in a club. It could just, when you think about like the best concert you've ever been to.
So I'm going to go back to last week when that girl brought that jacket and she was talking about Local Bazooka.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, is that Big Field Day? I think it was Local Bazooka. I don't know. But Blind by Noon played, and everybody was there. And
BFT.
Oh, that was the BFD?
Well, you guys played Local Bazooka too, so
we did both. But there was one of the shows that we set up a
the one
stage.
in Brockton.
I might have been. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the one with Tommy Lee played that one.
That might have been it.
Yeah, that was in Brockton, the Big Field Day.
Those were great because it was local. I mean, it wasn't, you go to a big concert, like I can see, the Woodstocks and stuff like that. Those are great. Like we go to see Iron Maiden everywhere. Those are wonderful. But the local ones were great because we knew all of the bands we were playing with. You're talking about people that you're with.
Yeah.
That
factors into it for me. The people that you were there experiencing it with impacts in my mind. Like the band can be great, but if you and your girlfriend got in a fight that night at the show, it ruins it. Yeah. Or if you were, with a jerk that was, that threw up on your back. The other night I was at Korn, and somebody literally was 4 seats down in the row and in the pouring rain, and they threw up from their toes. Oh my God. And I was with one of the guys that protected me in Afghanistan, and we were with his 15-year-old daughter, and this was her first concert, and she's standing there in the pouring rain, and somebody just projectile vomited, and she just was like, what? And I was like, well, where are we? There's your first concert story, right?
You got to do the whole thing.
But I think the people that you're with impact the overall experience. So for me, it's not just the bands. To me, it's everything.
Right.
So I didn't do Woodstock 94, but I did 99. And
I was there
another
too.
one that was all these great bands and the experience. And that was the first time I was ever in a crowd that I felt I couldn't breathe, because I got put into a spot where it was that packed. And I was like, wow, those things like that. And then being around, watching the fires, watching things transpire at the end. And it was something that was memorable. Same thing. We went with some really cool people. We decided to go. Truck half broke, rebuilt it on the way there, made it there. There's all these weird stuff that happened, but you put it all together and it was memorable.
Watching Korn do Blind.
Oh my
Just
God.
the other night in the pit at the Xfinity Center, But at Woodstock, it's always been my favorite Korn song because I just love how it just starts with that riff and then the bass kicks in. And then when you hear Jonathan Davis go, "Are you ready?" And the place, if you watch the footage of Woodstock 99 and watch that, it's unbelievable.
Right.
And to know that I was smack dab in the middle of it and that I didn't die. Yep. Especially, like, 'cause I did not understand how much was really going on at 99 until I saw the documentaries. And saw how bad it really was. Like, I was there with the radio station. We were out in the crowd. We were living in an RV. Like, it wasn't as bad for us as it was for other people. But that, when you just watch that, like that, have you guys seen the footage of Metallica in Russia? The 1.6 million biggest show they ever played in their career. No. The crowd goes to the berm of the earth. Like, they lose the end of the crowd. The footage is insane. I think it was 91.
Are the people, the rippling?
It looked like sound waves. Like when you throw a pebble in the water, because it was hitting the delay towers at Woodstock and people were it didn't even look like humans. It looked like water rippling. It was unbelievable.
Jim, what's the math? What's the speed of
that's a good question.
Right? How long, so if you have half a mile of people,
I don't know.
You don't. What do you mean you don't know? How many milliseconds do you got to delay the tower?
Well, it all depends. 0.91 milliseconds a foot. Put it in your phone.
That's what I'm saying.
0.19 milliseconds.
0.91 milliseconds a foot or thereabouts. So someone will say, "Hey." So I just did this live thing, and every day I had this girl Emily. She was great, by the way, from Claire as my systems person. And every day I'd look at her, and she'd take out these yellow viewfinders, and they were feet. And I'd say, "What's today?" And she'd look at the PA, and she'd look at the thing and she'd say 146 feet. And I'd go on my phone, I'd go 146 times 0.91. And then I would delay my headphones to it so that it sounded right.
Oh, so what I was getting is the ripple. Right. Because the people are actually, they're on the downbeat.
Yeah, they were just jumping.
But it looks like they're out of time. But they are in time with the sound wave.
They're in time with the sound. Yeah.
With the sound.
Because it's hitting them at, that distance.
So what these guys are talking about, for anybody that doesn't know anything about music, because I don't want to lose you guys, is when you go to a giant show and there's speakers on the stage and then speakers in the crowd and speakers in the crowd further back. Those are called delay towers.
And those are all firing at different times based on the speed of sound from the first PA and the subs going towards you, so that when that sound from the main PA hits where you're standing, the other ones fire so that
it doesn't echo.
Even, and it's one sound keeps going back.
The low end travels way slower than the high end.
They travel the same speed.
They do?
Yes, but that speed is, you're adding to it with more as it gets further back. Oh,
Michael Cole says the Russia crowd for Metallica was crazy huge. Jimmy Garrity joining us in the War Room says Ozfest 97, first time I saw Tool. So we were joking about those old Ozfest shows when we were at the Xfinity Center the other night because of the second stage and where it was in the woods. And people used to climb those trees and just dive into the pit of the second stage.
Lord.
And that second stage of Ozfest was such a launching pad for bands like System of a Down and Slipknot and Korn and Disturbed. Like that tour and the launch pad that it was for the bands that, I mean, I hate to tell you, but like Godsmack's classic rock now. It's 25 years to the date of your first release. So next year, Papa Roach and Linkin Park technically become classic rock.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's
crazy.
Hybrid Theory came out 25 years ago next year.
Wow. Feeling old, right?
So that also is the line to get qualified to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 25 years from the release. So next year, crazy. Papa Roach and Linkin Park become eligible for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's crazy.
I know.
So
Korn is celebrating their 30th anniversary this year.
That's incredible.
Which is just insanity.
Speaking of great shows, how about Slipknot concert, right? Ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. I mean, I was going to, getting back to my favorite concert, I mean, I was going to say, there's so many things that stand out. I've gone to big shows, Metallica at the Centrum. We caught a pick. It was awesome. Like we were front row, and it was always like I have a lot of these great show experiences with my friend Vasilios Lazos. He's my buddy from high school, and we've gone to these shows. And we went to the Alice show together at the Channel. And it's still, regardless of all these shows, Foo Fighters, Metallica, all these shows that I've seen, I still go back to the intimate shows. I think are the best because you're just so close.
Well, especially when you get to see a big band early.
Do you know what gets funnier even with that is when I was in high school and all the years before I played or do what I do for mixing and all that now, and I would go to concerts and I would get to the concert and I would V-line and figured out how to move the people to get to the front of the stage. And I remember seeing Judas Priest and all these bands like that and thinking in my head, that was the best sounding concert I ever heard in my life. And now when I look at it back from here, it's the worst possible position to hear sound. It does not sound good there, but the experience of hearing the songs you love performed by those people in that environment, it converts that garbage sound that you're really hearing into the most memorable, awesome experience. And you leave going, that was the best sounding show. And it wasn't, but to you it was. And you'll always remember it as that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that show again will never leave my mind. And the feeling I got when the curtain dropped and they played Damn That River, I'll never forget it. I mean, I get goosebumps. I'm still getting goosebumps. It's ridiculous. But, you know, it's so crazy to think that after all these years, that pent up, you know, energy that I was keeping, now we've assembled this band with all the right pieces and we get to do that. And it's...
Well, that's the pressure of a tribute band, right? Because for anybody that's just clicking the link, these guys are here with Rotten Apple, who's playing my birthday bash at Rascals in Worcester on Saturday night. When you're an original band, nobody has anything to compare it to, right? They can compare it to your record, but if they're seeing you for the first time and they're experiencing it, like that's what you sound like to them. When you are a band playing Alice in Chains, when you are a band playing Led Zeppelin, we have a reference point.
Right.
A really freaking good one.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to pull it off. Otherwise, we're like,
something that put me into these guys I've been friends with everyone in Rotten Apples for decades. Sean since God knows when. And it was one of those things where I'm good friends with them. And as the band started to get put together, they said, hey, Jim, we want you to be part of this. Come be our sixth member, be the sound guy, be our production guy. You've done this forever. You can help craft this. And my way of mixing and how I perceive it, fortunately, people like it. But the great thing for me is everyone in the band, and I like to include myself hopefully in that, is such a perfectionist and professional in what they do. And the way Dimitri sings, the way these guys do this is capturing this band. For me, I just love mixing it because I've mixed some bad bands and I've mixed some good bands. And when you're mixing a band that's really on point and they're making the people feel what's coming off there as genuine, this is as good or better than anything you'd ever get with Alice in Chains. So for me, every time I get there, it's like that rush mixing it because it's that good. And I mean, if you guys get a chance, obviously come to the birthday party.
Yeah, you got to come to the birthday party.
You will not be disappointed. And for me, every time I get to go out there and do this, I'm excited.
And I have to say, and I'm sure I speak for everybody, that when Jim joined the band as our production manager, sound engineer, it took us to a whole other level. So the sky's the limit at this point, right? And that's what we want. We want to go across the fucking country, you know? We want to bring this anywhere we can.
Well, that's the thing. These people want to hear these songs. You know, they love these songs. And as amazing as William Duvall is, and as amazing as Alice in Chains is, Cantrell obviously is spending a lot of time focusing on his other projects, and so is William Duvall. Mm-hmm. He's been guesting on other people's albums, releasing his own stuff. But, I mean, Lynyrd Skynyrd is technically a tribute band now. Like, there are a lot of bands that have one remaining member, but Journey has got two members, and one of them's not the lead singer. Right. But people love these songs so much that they want to go and experience them live, and they want to go with those friends that they were at that club show at the channel with and enjoy that music again. So if people weren't willing to go, these projects wouldn't exist.
Right.
Exactly. Definitely have to give a shout out to all the fans and all our fans that are following us and supporting us. So yeah, I mean, without them, we wouldn't be able to do it, right?
Well, it's a blast. You go and see you guys, and it's so much fun. And when we started talking about putting a show together, it just, I was like, well, my birthday is coming up. I mean,
Of
you
course.
know,
It's going to be awesome.
It was actually Jim's idea.
What,
Did you know?
that
was that Jim's idea? Really?
I'm pretty sure it was Jim's idea.
It was.
Yeah. He said, he looked at the calendar. He goes, "Wait a minute."
There was an
Carrie's
idea
birthday.
of doing a grunge brunch that
Yeah.
came together, and it fell through. And everyone was like, "Oh, they don't have the date and Carrie's birthday," and all of a sudden, I went, "Wait a second, Rascals is in her hometown." And I don't know if Frank has a show that day. And I didn't know Frank that well, but I knew Bruce's guitar player. I called Bruce. I'm like, hey, get a hold of Frank for me. See if they've got anything going on. And I saw if he had the date available. And then I was like, Carrie, what about
if
this?
we only had a radio station in
was like,
Worcester
yeah.
that could help
We
us
only had a
promote
radio
it.
station.
Thank you to everybody at the Pike for helping to, put
Right.
the whole birthday bash
Absolutely.
together.
Thank you,
God,
Pike.
that's awesome.
But it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of
It's
fun.
going to be great. Justin Jordan is going to open up the show with an acoustic set of 90s. He's great. He's definitely going to bring it, and it's going to be great.
Mike Shue promised that he was coming, so he will definitely be
Awesome.
there. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Mistress Carrie's going to be in the house.
I hope so. Do I get invited? I don't know if I have a ticket yet.
We have to get you a shirt. Should we do the shirt segment right now? I don't know. I
The
mean,
segment, yeah.
I'm staring at these T-shirts.
Yeah,
these
if you
Rotten
got
Apple.
shirts, hook me up.
I'm gonna hook you up right now. Should I go grab it right now?
I mean, you can, just don't hit the camera.
I'm not gonna hit anything.
It took
I'm
us like
Be-
45
this
minutes
is-
to
this
get
is-
everything to work
I know.
right.
It's tripwire.
I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm gonna like.
We got 209 primer.
I'll be right back.
Jim's like, you couldn't tape down these cables. There's a trip hazard over there.
Everything missing is the sauce.
So while Dimitri's doing that, I want to remind you guys, anybody that's new to the War Room, I want to remind you guys about some things. First of all, you're running out of time. If you want to try skydiving this season, go to jumptown.com, book your tandem skydive before the end of the season. Use the code Mistress Carrie. You get $40 off your tandem skydive. Also want to remind you that there are a bunch of different places you can hear me on the radio, including 98 Rock in Portland, Maine. You can listen to 98 Rock in Charleston. Charleston's best rock. Go to my98rock.com. You can hear me 10 to 3 every weekday in Charleston. You can also hear me in Worcester on 100 FM The Pike. You can go to pikefm.com, download the Pike app. You can stream the station from anywhere, wherever you're watching us. Here's the details on the birthday bash right there for you. That's Saturday night, and you can just go to pikefm.com. The link to get the tickets is there, or go to the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And you can also hear me on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. You can go to 1063thebone.com, download the app. And if you're up in Portland, I'm going to be there December 11th, hosting Deck the Halls with Daughtry. Also, Devour the Day and Sleep Theory are on that lineup. It's going to be at the State Theater. Tickets are available now. So I'm headed to Portland in December with Daughtry. Chris Daughtry is going to be on the podcast very soon. We got to do normally we do a cocktail toast, but hold on, let me turn all your cameras on here. But we didn't do a cocktail recipe this week.
Oh.
Because I forgot to bring the book over here. I was too busy not policing my cables. So cheers, guys. They're a little social.
Social.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
This is real beer. Mr. C.
Real Jack.
I want to remind you guys about who was on the podcast last week, because we didn't do the show last week. So last week, episode 224 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featured Barry Kurtz from Shinedown, who not only gave me a lot of very interesting gossip about the new album that is in the works right now, but also about the Torchbearer Hot Sauce collaboration the guys from Shinedown did.
Do you have any of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I have it. He sent me a case.
I'm going to try some.
He said, Barry and I spent a lot of time talking about how I have absolutely no tolerance for spicy food, and neither does Brent Smith from Shinedown. They did a taste testing, and the mango habanero sauce that is new, the third of the 3 that they released this year, is the really, really hot one. So Barry was my guest last week on episode 224. And every Tuesday night here in the War Room, I always let you know who's going to be on the show starting at midnight tonight. This week's episode of the podcast, episode 225, goes live at midnight tonight, and it features Mark LaBelle from Dirty Honey. Now, the guys in Dirty Honey, John Nato, the guitar player who's over here, is from Maine. And Mark LaBelle is from Albany. So a couple of these guys are East Coast guys. Dirty Honey is about to take over New England. Friday night, they're going to be in Portland at Aura. My birthday, excuse me, next Tuesday. They are going to be at Big Night Live in Boston. On October 5th, they're going to be in Foxwoods in Connecticut. And on October 8th, they're going to be at Wally's at Hampton Beach. So you're going to have a bunch of chances to see the final leg of the Can't Find the Brakes tour with the guys in Dirty Honey. So Mark LaBelle is my guest this week. He's been on the show before, but I always love having him back. You guys know how much I love the guys in Dirty Honey. So episode 225 goes live at midnight tonight. And also want to remind you guys that if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, which you can do at any of these podcast outlets, all the big ones, Apple, Google, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, the Odyssey app. You can also listen to all of the audio for every episode of the podcast on YouTube. And to make it even easier, if you are not technologically savvy whatsoever, you can just go straight to mistresscarrie.com, click on whatever episode you want to listen to, and literally press play. It's as easy as a cassette player. Anybody can do it.
What's that?
And if you subscribe to the podcast, not only do you get every full-length episode of the podcast every Wednesday, but every Monday through Friday, you also get the sit rep, which is around 5 minutes long. It depends on how much is going on in the world that day. But it's all your rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates, and it uploads first thing in the morning so you can listen to it while you're getting your coffee ready, driving the kids to school, sitting in traffic on your way to work, and you can get caught up on everything that's going on. And I am sorry to say, I know you guys have been waiting for this number to change, but we are still holding strong at 149 countries for the podcast. We have not been able to hit number 150 yet. I don't know what the holdup is in Africa, but there's only so many countries that have not been filled in on the world map yet. But 149 countries listen to the podcast. So
Is Greece on there?
Yes, Greece is on there.
All right.
Other's Dimitri's just going to start calling up the
Be
family.
like, hell, let's go. Come on. Gamoto.
Yes.
Where's the Uzo?
Yes. Great. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I have Uzo in here.
Okay.
It's too bad because
the
now
birthday gift.
I feel like I'm just getting my legs right now, you know? I mean,
Well, you've been over there trying to be fancy, drinking Jack on the rocks.
well, you know, I mean, when we started the the Facebook Live or podcast.
It's called the War Room,
It's
Dimitri.
called the War Room. I'm sorry. I mean, I kind of felt like, was it Marsha Brady that was like staring at the red light? You know,
That was Cindy.
Oh, it was Cindy. It was Cindy.
Yeah,
That's right.
Marsha got hit by the football.
I kind of had that. You know, now I got a jack in me. So can we go another hour?
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man. So
We're good.
Dimitri never came in the War Room before, and you guys know we started hanging out in here because this is where the booze is. So he was like, hey, I got to have a cocktail for Cocktails in the War Room. And I was like, what do you want? He was like, what do you got? And I opened up all the liquor cabinet, and he was like,
So beautiful.
paralysis by analysis.
I'm staring at it right now.
Trying
It's
to
a
decide
calm
what to
I'm
have.
staring at it right now. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I want to talk about some of the big stories in music with you guys because a lot of stuff happened since we were in the War Room last. So the big stuff that's been going on, hold on, let me turn all your cameras on again. We got to talk about Metallica, who once again has extended their M72 World Tour into 2025. They have changed up some of the openers. So if you got to see Metallica on the last couple years' legs worth of the tour, they added Limp Bizkit and Suicidal Tendencies. And Mammoth WVH has dropped off because Wolfgang's doing other stuff. Okay. But Pantera and Ice Nine Kills are back. And then Five Finger Death Punch dropped off because they're getting ready to do a bunch of stuff on their own as well. So all of those Metallica dates, including headlining the Sick New World Festival in Vegas, go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. That includes Charlotte, North Carolina, which is probably the closest show to Charleston. So if you listen to me on 98 Rock in Charleston, all weekend long on 98 Rock, we're going to be qualifying people to win Metallica tickets. But this whole leg of the tour goes on sale at 10 a.m. Then one of the other big things we got to talk about, because of course it happened in Boston, was Perry Farrell going absolutely batshit and punching Dave Navarro during a Jane's Addiction show on Friday the 13th in Boston. He has now come out, his wife has come out and said that he is seeking treatment by an ear, nose, and throat doctor and a neurologist. So I don't know
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I don't know that he was complaining on the stage about excessive stage volume, which I guess had been a problem on the tour previously.
Yeah.
But the fact that he snapped to the point where he was punching Dave Navarro. And look, for anybody that's ever had dealings with Dave Navarro,
I mean,
I understand wanting to punch Dave Navarro, but I just never did it, even though I had the urge.
Or do it on a show, on the stage.
Yeah.
Like, take it backstage.
But I couldn't believe, and of course it was in Boston, because Boston has that reputation of being,
right?
If you're going to punch somebody on Friday the 13th,
might as well do it in Boston.
You might as well do it in Boston. Yeah.
Scrappy.
So we don't know what the future is going to be for Perry Farrell and Jane's Addiction, but they haven't officially come out and said we're breaking up, but I don't know how you come back from that. I don't know. Heart, who postponed all of their tour dates for the rest of the year so Ann Wilson could have surgery and undergo what they called a preventative round of chemotherapy. They rescheduled all of their dates. That's going to include a date in April at the Agganis Arena in Boston. And we'll go through all of those dates coming up. But obviously, Ann Wilson healthy enough to be able to reschedule and go out on the road. And I think you guys would agree with me that if we're talking about female rock vocalist, the Mount Rushmore.
Oh my gosh.
Ann Wilson's up there,
Absolutely.
right? Dimitri, you're a singer. Sean, you sing. Like,
Oh my gosh. She's amazing.
She is, and she's Heart is. I mean, Seattle.
yeah. Yeah, and I talked to Ann and Nancy because they've both been on the podcast. And I asked Jerry Cantrell about it when he was on the podcast, and they are kind of like the patron saints of Seattle. Like Seattle has had these amazing eras in music, right? Hendrix, Heart, Queensryche, and then you get into the grunge, obviously newer artists like Aaron Jones, but the Wilson sisters and Heart, I mean,
Amazing.
when you talk about inspiring generations of women to feel like it was possible for them to get into rock,
Absolutely.
Are you raising your hand because you were one of the women that was inspired to get into rock?
No, I was just waving at,
At the camera. And then the other thing is all of the P. Diddy stuff, which is
God.
just...
And what are is it conspiracy theories? Are there different things that somebody I know, somebody we know posted something that it wasn't really his photo or something, and
it's more than photos. I mean, feds don't arrest you in a hotel lobby unless they know they already got you.
Right.
The conviction rate for federal prosecutors is 97%, and because they wait to. Whereas more locally, they'll arrest you and then try to put a case together. But the feds, from all of the analysis I've seen from real federal agents, not like stuff posted online, but interviews talking about it, that the feds are very patient and they wait until they know they've got you. But he's been indicted on everything from sex trafficking to racketeering to just all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's crazy.
And now they're talking about the dominoes of who else might fall because of this, because his parties were famous and, he had access to minors like Usher and then to Justin Bieber. There's a lot. If you go back and listen to lyrics now, like Justin Bieber lyrics from when he was younger.
Okay.
You go back and listen to Eminem lyrics and things that he's been saying about Diddy for years, because people are saying that this stuff, people have known that this was kind of happening for a while. And
Crazy.
People were afraid to say anything. And obviously there's a lot of people that think that P. Diddy is responsible for getting Tupac killed. And
Really?
it goes all the way back to that. Yeah. So there's a lot going on with this whole thing, but they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and sex lube when they raided his house.
Oh boy.
Like, that's just for anybody that's watching, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
1,000.
That's
wait a minute.
1,000 bottles.
Little.
Carrie, I worked for him.
I know. I was with you. So an early Sean and I story, when Puffy came out with "Come With Me," the song where he sampled Kashmir.
Is that going in the dictionary as well?
Come with me.
Dictionary.
The dictionary.
So the Zeppelin cover, the cover of
On the Godzilla soundtrack.
Yeah.
He was performing at Giant Stadium and he needed a rock band. And so it got put together. Here's a nugget. The guitarist was Rob Caggiano from Volbeat and Anthrax, who's a friend of the show. And the bassist was Sean. And so I went down there to watch this and stood next to Busta Rhymes on the wing of the stage, watching Sean play bass for Puffy.
It was great. It was only, how many people were there?
85,000, something like that.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
And
That's crazy, man.
It was crazy.
And one of the things that was required was that everybody that was in the entourage had to wear Sean John clothes. Remember that? That they came in with shirts and long sleeve shirts and whatever. And I wasn't on the stage. I was just on the side, but we all had to change and be in Sean John stuff.
That was the rule.
That was the rule.
But it was a very clean gig. There was no issues. We didn't.
No, it was for a pop station in New
wonderful.
York. It was a bunch
What
of
did you
artists.
wear? You wore Sean John stuff?
Yes.
I did. Yes. Yeah. I had a shop shirt, similar to almost like Jimbo's, but.
Okay.
But I had Sean John pants. I kept them forever too.
I can't picture you with Sean John pants.
Oh, and they disintegrated.
Watching Sean and I walk into a room where Puffy was doing sound check, and we were just like,
okay, hi.
yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
That was fun. That was a good time.
All right, so I want to run down some of the other big announcements that came around in music because some more tours got announced and some rescheduled dates got announced as well. So you guys know that we're always rattling off stuff. Let's see. Oh, the Deftones announced they're going to be at the Garden on April 8th. Of course, Jelly Roll is going to be there on Thursday. The Black Keys tour and Aerosmith shows at the Garden were canceled, but the Deftones are going to be at the TD Garden on April 8th. Those tickets are on sale now. DCU Center's got Iron Maiden coming up on November 6th. You will be hard-pressed to find a bigger Iron Maiden fan than Sean here in this room.
Yeah, buddy.
How many times have you seen Iron Maiden, Sean? Do you know?
I don't know.
Do you know how many countries you've seen Iron Maiden in? Because you're one of those people that...
I say 3.
Well, count the United States.
I mean, England, United
Yes,
States,
yeah.
South America.
Okay.
Of course, Adam's talking about Ireland now.
Yeah, because they announced 50th anniversary tour dates for next year.
Oh my
we
gosh.
had Germany tickets. For some reason, we didn't go, and they're going to be in Mexico with Disturbed. I just talked to
that's a
Jeremy
good call.
today, and I think that I'm not sure we're going to do that because we're just not sure.
Yeah, you would be hard-pressed to find a bigger Maiden fan than that guy right there.
Well, Adam St. Jean.
Yeah, well, yeah. But Maiden they're already announcing tour dates, and they just announced that they have 3 more Funko Pop figurines for those Funko collectors that are coming out. They made that announcement this week. Big Night Live in Boston has got Dirty Honey on Tuesday, Asking Alexandria October 8th, Palais Royale on October 11th, and The Marvelous 3 and Lit on November 10th. The Xfinity Center, you guys know how much I hate this time of year when there's nothing, because the rock shows are over at the Xfinity Center for the year, which just, this gap of nothing makes me so sad. Also, some stuff that got announced. So this Adrian Ballou, Steve Vai, Danny Carey tour, this Beat tour is going to be at the Schubert Theater October 11th. Duran Duran at Mohegan on that amazing kind of Halloween themed tour that they're doing. They're going to be at Mohegan October 25th and at the SNHU Arena on November 2nd. Godsmack with Nothing More in Flat Black at Mohegan Sun. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about this show.
Oh,
That there could be an extended touring break for Godsmack after this show, which is the last date of the tour. There is nothing scheduled for Godsmack for the rest of the year after the show, and nothing on deck for next year.
I think I heard that too.
So I am hearing rumors about an extended break for Godsmack. This is going to be the last area show, and it's the last date of the tour. Dream Theater is on sale now, scheduled to be at the Wang on March 15th. And Heart, we were just talking about them. Heart at the at Foxwoods on April 12th and at the Agganis Arena in Boston on April 13th. These Heart shows go on sale this Friday. Weird Al Yankovic just announced that he is going on tour. He's going to be at the Wang on July 15th. And at Foxwoods on July 18th. Those tickets also go on sale this Friday, the 27th. And then Dimitri's rating the bar right now. The Leader Bank Pavilion, another outdoor venue. You guys know I hate seeing that completely vacant. It bums me out. But we're at the end of the summer concert season. But we're getting a lot of shows that are getting announced for next year already. The Fenway Rock concerts are also done for the entire year. So I hate seeing those screens that are completely empty as well. The Palladium has got Set It Off New Year's Day from Ashes to New. That's coming up on October 27th. All of these shows, by the way, you can find on the Mistress Carrie page. Or on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The Hives at Roadrunner, that's tomorrow. The Red Clay Strays, who opened up for the Stones at Gillette earlier this year, they're going to be at Roadrunner in Brighton on October 5th. Dayseeker on October 11th, and Rise Against on October 24th.
You need some Jaeger?
Nope, I'm good. It's not Ozfest 99. I am good. I drank so much Jaeger, they gave me a leather jacket and a refrigerator. Not even kidding. Still have both. The MGM Music Hall at Fenway announced today that the two Queens of the Stone Age shows that were postponed from the end of September have now been rescheduled. So that must mean that Josh Homme is on his road to recovery. The two shows have been rescheduled to June 10th and June 11th. Details are updated on the Mistress Carrie concert calendar. Sting is going to be there on October 4th and 6th. I'll tell you guys a funny roadie story about my old career. Jim knew me back in my old roadie pre-radio station days. And I used to work on the crew at what is now the Xfinity Theater in Hartford. It used to be called the Meadows. And I was working on the local crew down there for the Sting show. And this was right around the time in the mid-90s when all of that news broke about Sting having sex for 9 hours, the tantric
God.
sex
I
stuff,
remember that.
right?
Gosh.
Yeah. And so there I am, hair in a ponytail, cargo pants, work boots, crescent wrench in my pocket, Leatherman on my belt, with my gloves on, pushing road cases around. And I end up walking down the backstage hallway behind the stage of the Meadows, behind Sting in leather pants. I'm only human, okay? This is like 96, and I'm pushing a motor box, the chain motors that hoist all the lights and speakers up into the ceiling at a concert, and I'm just pushing this empty case to this other room where they stored all the dead cases during the show. And I was so fixated on staring at Sting's ass that I walked straight into a wall and thudded the wall. And he turned around and just looked at me, and I just went like,
Sorry.
and he just laughed and kept walking. One of the most embarrassing times of my entire life. But if you saw Sting's ass in leather pants in the 90s,
I mean, it is Sting.
who could blame me? Who could blame me? And all I could think about was like, he has sex for like 9 hours at a time. Kings of Leon's going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on October 7th. Trivium Bullet for My Valentine will be there in May of 2025. So we are already announcing shows. The Dropkick Murphys came out this week and announced the dates of the shows for St. Patrick's Day. So it's the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th of March, but they have not announced the venues. Those are just the days they're going to be playing in Boston. Which shows are going to be at the House of Blues? Which shows are going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway? We don't know yet, but the Dropkick Murphys have already started making plans for St. Patrick's Day. Speaking of the House of Blues, they are at the House of Blues tonight. Blues Traveler. Hatebreed, they're there tonight, so we're missing the show, obviously. Hatebreed, Carcass, Harm's Way, and Crypto are going to be there on Friday night. So those tickets are still available. Testament, October 6th. Theory of a Dead Man's acoustic tour is going to be at the House of Blues on November 12th. And Steel Panther is going to be at the House of Blues on November 23rd. And if you have never experienced Steel Panther in all of their glory, you must see it. Duff McKagan's going to be at the Paradise Rock Club November 4th on his Lighthouse tour. And Guar is going to be at the Paradise Rock Club on November 5th. So be prepared for all of that.
Rain suit.
And City Winery Boston has got Richie Kotzen on October 15th. All of these shows are up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And
I saw Richie at NAMM, right?
Let's see what other show that I want to tell you guys about. The stage at Suffolk Downs that has been all redone. Did you guys know that Suffolk Downs redid the whole stage there, and they're starting to have more and more outdoor shows at Suffolk Downs now.
Cool.
Not a racetrack anymore. They're turning it into like a big outdoor venue in Boston. New releases always come out on Fridays. So there's a bunch of AC/DC vinyl reissues coming out. Speaking of Alice in Chains, Black Gives Way to Blue is getting a vinyl reissue on Friday. The Black Dahlia Murder, Chicago with vinyl reissues. Daughtry is coming out with Shock to the System Part 1. They're releasing an album in 2 parts. 6 songs on part 1, 6 songs on part 2. That EP comes out next year. So the new Daughtry comes out. Dream Theater Volume 1 comes out on Friday. The Fray, Genesis, continuing their vinyl reissues are all coming out. They have got... and then there were 3. That's getting reissued. Invisible Touch is getting reissued. The Lumineers, live from Wrigley Field, is coming out on Friday. Serge Tankian from System of a Down is releasing his new Foundations EP on Friday. Thin Lizzy 1976 is coming out. And new arrangements and duets from Van Morrison is coming out on Friday as well. So a ton of new releases all coming out this Friday. We got to do mail calls, so I got to turn the guys' cameras on for this. For anybody that's new to the show, that's the address down below where you can send stuff here into the War Room. I got to get into the box over here. This is Wednesday's favorite part of the show, by the way, because people are always, she's peeking up already because she usually knows when she hears mail call, she usually knows that there's stuff that's coming in for
This
her.
might be my favorite part, too.
Yeah.
It's been so good.
So-
Jimbo's been taking care of her. And,
she's
the
just
minute mail
sitting
call
over there.
comes up,
Yeah,
here we go.
She is
There
ready
she
to go.
goes.
So first of all, Melissa, I don't know where she found these things, but obviously people from Leominster, the flamingo thing. Dimitri, did you know this? That the plastic lawn flamingos that everybody started putting on their lawns in the 50s were made in Leominster?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
You
that.
are, Dimitri, right now, you are in the birthplace of Johnny Appleseed and the pioneer plastic city that gave us the plastic lawn flamingos. These are the claim to fames of
amazing.
Leominster. So she found these skeleton flamingos, and I made such a fuss out of them in the War Room a few weeks ago that she sent me some for my sister because my sister wanted to steal them.
Holy cow.
So thank you for sending me more bone flamingos.
That's awesome.
And then
Wednesday's not impressed, though.
No. She will be in a minute, though, as she sits there. She's licking her
looking for
lips here.
something.
Yeah. So the McMahons always send me amazing stuff here in the War Room. So they sent me this card, skeleton card.
That's awesome.
It says, Carrie, don't worry, you look good for your age.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday, love Melissa, Tim, Opal, and Pearl. Happy birthday. So thank you. So because these guys are playing the birthday party this weekend, the birthday's technically next Tuesday. I'm not quite certain if we're going to do the War Room next Tuesday or not because Mark LaBelle, in recording this week's podcast episode, was talking about tequila at Big Night Live next Tuesday night. So I don't know what's going to happen yet. So I'm glad we're talking about my birthday tonight. So thank you for making me feel incredibly old.
We'll come to the big tequila night too.
Yeah. So first of all, Wednesday always gets spoiled with stuff, which is
Here she comes.
and she
There she
loves crinkly toys. So now we're getting new. Oh, these are Nightmare Before Christmas toys. Wednesday.
Look
Here,
at
tell
that.
your new
Wow.
best friend Jim to take the tags off for you. Jim, this is nice having a Vanna White here in the war room. So then we got.
Oh
Sweet.
wow, she's psyched.
She's so
She's
happy.
so
Look at
psyched.
the
Look at
squeaker.
her.
Oh my god, those squeakers make
Yeah.
me crazy.
She's so
I know.
psyched.
Everybody that watches the War Room that has dogs with them, their dogs are pissed right now. It's like doorbell commercials.
Yeah.
Anybody that puts a doorbell in your TV commercial is a dick. Yeah, exactly. This Wednesday, on Wednesday, we wear black. This is a
That's
shirt for Wednesday with
awesome.
Wednesday on it.
Wednesday, she's on it?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Oh,
It's
boy.
fantastic.
yeah. Wednesday got her own black. On Wednesdays, we wear black shirts. See, you can see Wednesday on it.
That is fantastic.
Netflix Wednesday, not Christina Ricci 90s Wednesday. Like, this is the new incarnation of Wednesday,
Which is awesome, by
which
the
is
way.
awesome.
Amazing. I can't
Tra-
wait for season 2.
she-
The trailer just came out this week. Did you
It's
see
amazing.
it? Yeah, it
We-
looks so good.
I mean, the thing with Netflix, though, you just binge it in one, 2
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
and it's
I
done.
feel so bad. It takes these actors like months and months and months. Or like you go to watch a movie, it takes them months and months and months to produce it. And we sit there eating popcorn for 2 hours and then it's over.
It's done in like 3 days.
Yeah. They spend months working on like 12 episodes of a show and we sit there on a Sunday
Right.
on the couch in our underwear and,
And
just
then,
watch
and then
it
in
all.
3 days, we're like, what the hell? When are you guys working on the next one?
Yeah.
Seriously.
And they're like, I was gone for 9 months making those 12 episodes. Guys,
Oh, I see it.
this is a Halloween
Oh, boy.
costume for Wednesday.
Look.
Oh,
at
my
that.
God.
This is
No.
a Beetlejuice
Wednesday.
costume
Holy shit. Wednesday.
Awesome.
with the
You are
wig.
so psyched.
I can't.
Can we dress her up?
Yep. Go ahead.
By the way, we
go
went-
ahead, Vanna.
We did go
No, you
to
don't.
me
gonna
and
let
my
you do it?
girlfriend Candace. We went to see
Is that another?
Beetlejuice.
Oh, look at that.
Beetlejuice
That one's
was
really
awesome.
crinkly.
Yeah, this one's really crinkly. She loves the crinkle toys. And everybody that watches the War Room knows. And so they seek out the crinkles because she loves them so much. Do you love this?
You think you can put that on her, Jimbo?
Do you want to try?
Did you go see Beetlejuice yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's awesome.
So they filmed a lot of
I loved
that
it.
in Vermont.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, the house was built. They built it in Vermont.
Oh, no way.
And you know the crazy statues?
Yes.
They got stolen by a guy in a red pickup truck in Vermont. They had the replicas outside. Somebody who doesn't want the Beetlejuice statues on
Right.
their front lawn at
Exactly.
Halloween?
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Oh my God,
You gotta
he's
poke- you
putting
gotta poke her.
Beetlejuice
I'm glad
on.
Jim's camera is on so you can watch Jim try to wrestle the Beetlejuice
Here
costume
we go.
This is
on
awesome.
Wednesday.
Hit the pause. for
Go,
pause.
Jimbo.
Okay, this
Is that what I think it is?
is a thing.
No, that's okay.
A
love it.
walking severed hand. Oh my God. Wednesday, did you not like
Yeah,
it?
she's not having it.
I'm going to get it on you. Don't you worry.
If Mama does it, I think it'll work.
I think the
Yeah.
Wednesday outfit's going to be perfect, though. But that's awesome.
Oh my God. Look at
Thing.
this.
Is that thing?
It's either, well, thing is flesh colored. This is like Frankenstein
Yeah,
colored.
it is.
But it's
You're
a
right.
severed hand that walks across the floor.
That's pretty sick.
Where do you find these things, Melissa?
There's a
pretty
battery
sick.
tab. See that tab in the top? I bet it'll work right now.
Yeah, but it's zip tied in there.
Jimbo,
So.
you got a knife on you?
That's our favorite.
Oh, look.
Halloween is my
Look.
favorite. Oh my gosh.
Wednesday is going to lose her little mind when she sees that.
Oh my God. Wednesday, do you see?
I mean, that's in there pretty good.
She's
We
like-
need a hand grenade to get that
She's
open.
like, yeah, Mom, that's great, but are there cookies in there?
I mean, we are in the war room.
Oh, and then here we go.
Yeah, you're right.
On Wednesdays, we wear black toy with a tug of war rope. See, when you guys came in, you saw the pile of toys
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Wednesday,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Wednesday, you are the most spoiled dog in the world. Not only because you've been sitting on Jim's lap for an hour and a half, but because you just got like all of these amazing toys
She's got a big,
on my birthday. Now these are...
Wednesday's not coming to the birthday bash, is she?
No, she's not. She can't be trusted.
awesome. We can get her an ID.
No, we can get her an ID. Well, she's 6.
So that would
Six
make
and a
her,
half in dog years. She's mid 40s.
Yeah.
40s.
You guys know I collect rubber duckies. She found skeleton rubber duckies.
That's sick.
Melissa is the master of Google. Like, I don't know where she finds the things that she finds, but she finds the most amazing things.
That's awesome.
Did you guys see the purple lights that were lining the pathway out front?
Yes.
Yes.
She got them for me.
I like her.
That's awesome.
I don't even know where are you
Melissa, you rock.
finding these things?
That's awesome.
Oh my God, these are so cool. Ah, Halloween and my birthday at the same time.
I mean,
And you know what's hilarious? She reused my own boxes. She reused boxes that I used to ship her merch, like sweatshirts
it's
and t-shirts.
environmentally
Yes, she's
sound.
very cautious.
Yes.
And then, oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. I don't know what this is, but it's... I don't think this is going to be
It's
end
safe.
well.
It's wrapped in bubble wrap.
You know, it's bubble wrap, but I don't think this is going to be good for our livers. If what I'm seeing is,
What?
yeah, hold on.
What is that?
I don't know. I'm
Are
trying
we
to
going to
figure
drink it
out.
tonight? What?
Whatever it is, pour me some.
Okay, so this is a nightlight
Oh,
with the hearse from the Addams family, or
Wow,
like the
that's-
family car,
and it
which
plugs
is
in the wall.
yeah, the plug. It's got a plug back here.
Awesome.
So it probably lights it up all purple because it looks like the purple backing, which is insane. But I'm smelling
What?
What's that?
vampire blood.
Oh, geez. Well,
But what I can't tell is it alcohol or is it like, oh, these are scented candly things, so we probably shouldn't drink them.
you can never have too much vampire blood. I
Yeah,
mean,
see, they're vampire blood. They're like capsules.
Suke.
Halloween's great. I love Halloween.
And what's this one? This one is, oh yeah, these are home fragrances. That's how you know you have a drinking problem, when you automatically assume these are shots. They're fragrances. So I'm
imagine
not
if you
going to
couldn't
drink
read.
them. Oh my God.
Just drink it.
So there's a diffuser in here. Okay, this makes a lot of sense now. I get it. Hold on. This is a skeleton pluggy car diffuser thing.
Oh.
I see.
And you put the smelly discs in there to make your car smell delicious, like these.
Oh.
All right, I'm getting it now. Hold on.
Well, we could still drink it.
Cleansing gel hand soap
Oh, my gosh.
with skeletons.
Does it smell like a corpse?
Nope, it smells good. Not that I know what a corpse smells like. This one is vampire blood cleansing gel.
Okay.
This one is perfect pumpkin.
That's got to smell like
Oh,
pumpkin.
my
Oh
gosh.
yeah. Did you guys know that the smell for men that is the most sexually arousing
Beer?
is pumpkin pie? They did tests.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin
Pie
pie, really?
sexually arouses men more than any other scent. And for women, it's citrus and lemon, which is why they make cleaning products all smell like lemons.
I mean,
Wait,
hello.
pumpkin pie sexually arouses men.
The smell.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So why
not
did
the
they-
looking at the pie. We're not talking American pieing.
I was going to say,
The
why did they
pie,
use apple pie
Dimitri.
for that? I mean, they should use pumpkin.
And then Wicked Vanilla Woods. These are all like scented. Oh, that smells good. Where do you find all of this cool stuff, Melissa? Like, how do you find, oh, look, an air freshener that has a jiggly skeleton for Carrie's car? Like, of course she's going to put that in her car. But where do you find this stuff? Bone rubber duckies.
Rubber ducky.
Pretty awesome.
Seriously.
Nice job, Melissa.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Cheers to you.
She finds the most
job.
amazing stuff. And I think that, because every time I go to the post office to get call mail, they're like, the guy said today, they're like, you got a big one. And I'm like, that's what she said. But but they came out with these giant boxes, and it's all of that stuff, including the skeleton flamingos,
That's cool.
which
That
will.
is really
I was going to
cool.
say, that doesn't ship well, I don't think. That's a large container.
This is a big box. There's a lot of bubble wrap in there.
A lot of
though.
bubble wrap.
Yeah. So, and the card. So
The
thank you.
flamingo and the hand those are awesome.
Yeah.
The hand's cool.
I
hand's
can't
really
wait
cool.
to see it scurry across the
yeah,
floor.
It's going to be
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah.
You got to post a video of it.
But when people come in the war room, right? Like Dimitri, you're here for the first time.
First time.
If you look behind you on the jukebox and you see all the candles that are blueberry cobbler scented, that's because people in the war room send me amazing stuff. And whenever people come to the house and they go, where do you get all of this crazy stuff? I'm like, normally it's the people in the war room.
Right?
Yeah, they send me amazing stuff.
It's pretty awesome in here, by the way.
The war room's a vibe, right?
It's such a vibe. It's great.
You know what? It's acoustically sound, too. It
Right.
doesn't
Yeah, it
sound
does.
bad in here.
Sounds
Yeah, it's a
The
it's a
angle of the
little
ceiling is
echoey.
cool.
Like if you listen to the audio of the War Room versus the podcast in MCHQ,
Well, that's super dead.
that's soundproofed. Yeah, I mean this in here is super echoey.
This isn't offensive.
But this room is a place where long before the pandemic, long before like that, when people would come over to the house and we would sit around and have drinks, we would have them in this room. Sure. So it just seemed like a natural thing that this is where we were going to start hanging out during the pandemic.
It's definitely not what I expected.
Wait,
you know,
you know what?
watching your podcast.
Well, because you only see this,
Right, I know, and it just
Yeah.
seems like
There's
when I
so
walked in, I
much
was like,
more
wow,
there.
this
People
is
that
crazy.
can't see the room here, it's 6-sided. It's not square. So no matter where
It's
you
really
sit,
cool.
you're looking at everyone.
Yeah.
So it makes it.
Oh, it's great for
Right? Yeah,
conversation. Yeah. And
I didn't count the sides. You counted the sides. You already specced out the room for
Yeah.
sound, right?
he's
Jimbo?
already doing the angles and the math. He's like geometry.
Specced
Okay, we
out the
could.
room,
that
sorry.
couch?
He's like, we could put speakers in the ceiling, but they'd have to be tipped
Right,
this
yeah.
way to make it sound perfect.
We'll
That
put a
couch is
speaker
the
there
perfect
that'll
angle.
just feed 2 dB in the corner.
But the rule of the war room, whenever someone from the military comes here, whether they're retired or active duty, because a lot of times we'll have friends here and they'll bring a friend that I've never met before, that's never been to the house before. And so what you can't see on the opposite wall of me is there are a lot of shelves that are just filled with things, little things. And so the rule of the war room is the first time you come to the war room, you come to drink and you hang. The next time you come, you have to leave something behind.
Oh,
So there's a lot of patches. There's a lot of coins in here. People have left shell casings. They've left flags and baseball hats and photographs and just all of these little things. And then there's all of the stuff that I have from my trips overseas and the family photos, the military stuff. It's filling up all of the shelves in here.
I have to say, I'm going to give it a little shout out to our friend Tony Booten. If you
Tony
go to
Booten, yeah.
if you go to Booten Bar,
Yeah.
like his house,
He's got some really cool stuff.
Oh my gosh, he has amazing stuff. He's
Next
got a
time you're
bar
in
set up in his
Manchester,
basement,
we're gonna go
but
to Booten Bar.
same idea, like amazing military stuff. I walk around that all the time, and I find something new every time.
Well, that's
Crazy.
why I always tell people they have to leave something, because you can look in these shelves for an hour and be like, what is this little
I know, it's crazy.
thing? Like, what is this little thing? Where did this come from? What is that?
There's some interesting items here for
Yeah,
sure.
it's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, for sure. But I don't know. So I'll tell the story quick for anybody that's new to the war room, and for Dimitri, obviously. So the blueberry cobbler candles behind you.
Yeah, what's
if you
that all
go to the dictionary,
Yeah.
blueberry cobbler is a joke in the war room. One of our most famous jokes, which is why on the back of the Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts, it says, I'm just here for the blueberry
I
cobbler.
mean, it sounded very real for some people. I mean,
Yeah.
Do you know of the story about the blueberry?
Yep.
So quickly, the story about the blueberry cobbler, for anybody that doesn't know, when I got embedded in Afghanistan in 2011, one of the places I spent a lot of time was Camp Phoenix, which was a massive base in the middle of downtown Kabul. And there were like 17 or like 22 like countries from around the world that were all part of the Allied forces that had representation on the base. There was a special operations section of the base. There was a big fuel depot for all of the aircraft and all of the vehicles, the Humvees, the tanks, the MATVs, all of that stuff. There was barracks, chow hall. Like, it was just a massive complex behind these huge perimeter walls. And one of the things that they set up was this little marketplace inside the base, and you had to get vetted to do business on base. And so they had a store that sold like all the electronics, the flash drives, cell phone chargers,
Right.
you know, like all of that kind of stuff that you see at Newport News in the airport, basically all the little gadgets that you forgot for your phone or whatever. There was a place to get souvenirs from Afghanistan, locally made crafts and things, because so many of the troops that were stationed in Afghanistan wanted to be able to send things home to their wives, their husbands, families, kids, whatever. And then one of the other places on base was a place where you could go and get massages. And when I arrived, I was the only woman around, because at the time I was embedded with the infantry and there weren't women in the infantry in 2011. When I arrived, I was told that if you went and got a massage and you asked for the blueberry cobbler, you got the Robert Kraft special. And all of the guys I was embedded with begged me to go get a massage and ask for the blueberry cobbler, because they were dying to know what would happen if a girl went in and did it. And I was like,
you'd get a blueberry cobbler.
I'm sure I would. So not only did I not do it, but shortly thereafter, it got raided by the MPs because of the blueberry cobbler. And then within the week, while I was still in Afghanistan, different people opened a separate massage parlor in the same place, but I never found out what the new code was. So there was this inside joke about blueberry cobbler that was only me and the guys I met in Afghanistan.
Wow.
Until Cocktails in the War Room started. And I was left to my own devices in this room by myself in the middle of a pandemic, having one too many drinks. And people started asking me in the comments what stories I should share from overseas. And I let the blueberry cobbler story slip. And then the War Room family started sending blueberry cobbler stuff.
Wow.
Blueberry cobbler coffee,
That's
blueberry cobbler candy,
awesome.
blueberry cobbler candles. So all of those candles that are behind you guys are blueberry cobbler scented candles.
That's awesome.
So now anytime anybody that has been in the War Room goes, because it smells
good. It smells amazing.
I know,
It's
right?
amazing.
So anytime people go to a restaurant and blueberry cobbler's on the menu, they take a picture and they post it up in the War Room and
That
like,
is so cool.
yeah.
I mean,
That's such a great story.
this is the blueberry cobbler I remember. I don't know what the heck was going on overseas, but this one smells good.
So now that's why we put it on the back of the t-shirts.
That's awesome.
So if you see someone in a War Room t-shirt,
That is
if you don't know the joke, it just says, I'm just here for the blueberry cobbler, which is, okay, fine, you like blueberry cobbler.
Right.
But now you know,
I know,
Dimitri.
I know. Now I know.
Now,
That's
so when you
great.
see the War Room family wearing War Room t-shirts,
or if I see any blueberry cobbler anywhere,
anything, you are now in.
I
Is it
am
another
in.
splashing reference?
Yeah.
I mean, all right, bring it out. Warm it up.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like the limoncello, like all of the guys are like, oh my God, blueberry cobbler. It's just better, says Heidi. Debbie says, what a fun story. I'm running on blueberry cobbler, says Heidi. Show them the shirt I sent that said you had me at blueberry cobbler, says Eric.
That's awesome.
These guys are getting shirts made. Like it's a whole thing. Show that. So Melissa sat down and rewatched the first 80 episodes of Cocktails in the War Room. And she made me a book of the first 80 episodes of the War Room. Everything we talked about.
Wow.
The drink recipes we shared.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It's all in a book. It's downstairs in the War Room. Actually, no, it might be in there. It might be in the War Room
amazing.
cabinet. Yeah. So I'll show them after, Melissa, because it's up in the cabinet.
Awesome.
Do you have the porn star margarita on your drink recipe? I should share that.
What is
Oh,
that?
hold on. Wait, hold on. I have a screen for you to be able to share the cocktail recipe.
Ooh.
This week's cocktail recipe is coming to us courtesy of Dimitri from Rotten Apple.
That's right.
Go ahead, Dimitri.
All right, here we go. I'm just going to pull it up here.
What's this called? The porn star
It's called
margarita?
the Porn Star Margarita.
Okay. Does it have blueberry cobbler in it in any fashion?
No, it doesn't.
It might at the
Okay.
end by the time we're done.
It's amazing, though. It's really good. Hang on. I had it on the beach with my sister when we were, when I was helping out my sis. I'm going to give her a shout out because she's with my folks in Greece. My mom has dementia and she's caring for my parents.
It's amazing.
I love you, Connie. I love you, Con.
We talk about it all the time. You and I talked about what it's like to care for a loved one that has dementia. It's really hard.
So when we were in our village, Chrysaviyi, which is northern Greece, we found a little beach resort. It was called Barga, right next to our village. So we could go and, we just got away from the folks.
Yeah,
we had
just
our
take a little
nurses
mental break.
Taking care of, them. So we got away and we went to this place and they had these porn star margarita, or no, it's actually porn star martini. Excuse me.
Okay.
Porn star martini. And the recipe is, let me see if I can pull this up. Here
Do we need a magnifying glass? Are you all
no,
right?
I do. I'm good.
You want my glasses?
Fresh passion fruit, vanilla vodka, passion fruit liqueur, vanilla syrup, lime juice, pineapple juice. There you go.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So here in the war room, when we do a drink recipe, we usually give out the portions,
Okay.
how to serve it, what kind of glass, and then we always talk about garnishes because drinks should always have like a garnish of some kind. So I'm thinking pineapple wedge,
So it wasn't
Upside
a pineapple
down
wedge.
pineapple
It was
like a little
actually-
pineapple chunk or something.
No, you know what was in it? It was a dried passion fruit. It was a slice
Oh.
of
Makes
dried
sense.
passion fruit.
Sure.
Yeah, you got to have a
Really good.
garnish.
Yeah, you do.
And we're
it
always
was in
trying to
It was in a
find-
martini glass.
Okay.
They don't have the portions here, but the fruit
Measure
was-
with your heart.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me.
When it comes to the vodka.
recipe.
That sounds delicious. Pineapple and passion
really,
fruit
really
with
good.
passion fruit vodka and vanilla vodka. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
look at this image. Can I just share the image?
I mean, it's your phone. If you want to put it up for the war room, yeah, go
How
ahead.
do you do that?
Wednesday, what are you doing back there?
Oh, right there.
Yeah, can't see it. It's just a big white blob.
No.
Nope.
All right. Well,
Wednesday.
Damn it. Gosh darn
Did you
it.
get sick of Jim petting you? You just want to sit back here and observe?
Well, she wants to be closer to the box of,
yeah, the
of toys.
Of toys. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it only took her an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, a couple more things I want to remind you guys about. First of all, you can go to mistresscarrie.com and go into the store. We are running out of the tank tops for the season. Hey, knock it off. So if you want to get your black and white Mistress Carrie tank tops, sun's out, guns out, it's like fall, guys. So if you want to get your tank tops, they're not going to get restocked until next year. So I may bring whatever is left to the birthday bash on Saturday night at Rascals, but we're running out of tank tops for the year and they will get restocked next summer. But if you want to get them, especially if you're going to be going to Greece to visit Dimitri's family or something and you need a tank top, sun's out, guns out, get your tank tops. If you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, guys, we are working on a plan for something extra special at the birthday bash with Rotten Apple at Rascals this Saturday night. But if you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you get access to an exclusive monthly live stream. You find out who's going to be on the podcast before anybody else, so you can submit podcast interview questions. When I travel, I take you with me and you get travel blog updates. You get early access to event information like the birthday bash. And you get access to exclusive concert ticket giveaways and merch discount codes. So if you want to get a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or just click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com and get yourself a backstage pass. And backstage pass holders, we do have some cool plans for you at the birthday bash. A reminder about all of the places you can find me online: TikTok, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Cameo, YouTube, Patreon, and Twitch, and all the radio stations. You can hear me every day: 100 FM The Pike in Worcester, 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, 98 Rock in Charleston. All of the links, everything you need to know is at mistresscarrie.com. And one final reminder, before we get ready to wrap up the show, the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group is growing every day on Facebook. This is a place to specifically talk about veterans' causes, veteran-owned businesses, veterans' issues. It's a place for veterans to gather to share information about resources. It's a place for veteran-owned businesses to promote themselves. If you are still active in the military and you're getting ready to transition and retire, this is a great place to go and ask questions with other veterans that have already gone through that. And it is also a place for civilians to be able to go and ask questions for the veterans in their lives, or just to get involved with veteran organizations, events. If civilians want to go and patron veteran-owned businesses, if you want to get involved with veterans and the veterans community in any way, shape, or form, go on Facebook, search for the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock group. We launched this over the summer, and it's already got almost 2,000 members. And you guys are doing amazing things. You're helping each other track down information for resources. You guys are helping to drive up volunteerism for events. You're helping to fundraise. You're getting behind doing events at the VFW, motorcycle runs, ruck marches, and you're also steering people towards things like, I have an old tattered flag. Where do I take it? What do I do with it? Or I think the veteran in my life is struggling with post-traumatic stress and depression. What should I look for? Where should I go for more information? The Veterans Rock Group on Facebook is an amazing forum for all of these things and more. So if you have a Facebook page, join the Veterans Rock Group. If you don't have a Facebook page, just go on the group. The link is there. If you're watching on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, this group is doing amazing things, getting the word out about all things concerning veterans. And there's going to be a lot of veterans at the party on Saturday night, which I'm super excited about. So there you go. Join the group. This is my shirt.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. The guys from Rotten Apple have hooked me up with my official Rotten Apple gear. Oh, wait, there's 2 shirts here. Hold on.
Yeah, there's a couple.
There's one for Mr. C.
Yes.
One is for Mr. C.
Ah. So, Rotten Apple shirt on the back. Are you guys going to have these shirts?
Yes.
We are.
At the show?
We are.
And we're going to
have
bring some
merch.
Mistress Carrie gear to
Yeah,
the birthday bash on Saturday.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So you guys can help the band out, grab their shirts. You can also go to rottenapple-usa.com, which is down at the bottom of the screen. You can find out other gigs that they're going to be playing. But let's just focus on my birthday, shall we? Let's just
out there.
Mission focused. We're just talking about the birthday right
That's
now.
right.
That's right. I can't wait.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having us.
It's nice to have other like musical people that we can have these discussions about music and bands and stuff here in the War Room, because everybody in the comments, oh, wait, hold on. Michael Cole says 6-4, bottom of the 10th, 1 out. Thank you for the Sox update. Let's see.
Bruins won, right?
Debbie says, I've got a shirt already. That is great.
Boom.
Ash says, happy birthday, Mistress. Hope the bash will be great. Wish I was able to make it, but I can't wait to see the pics from the night. So yeah, we're going to be posting a lot of stuff. And birthdays. Keith, I didn't forget you. This is also something you get in the dictionary. So Bruce Springsteen, 75th. Peter Salzberg from The Verve, and Clown from Slipknot celebrating his 55th birthday today.
Clown.
So to everybody that's having a birthday
Cheers.
today, cheers. And also we unbirthday Keith. So happy birthday to everybody celebrating a birthday today, and happy unbirthday Keith.
Happy unbirthday, Keith.
Yeah. Cheers, Keith.
Cheers.
There you go. All right, guys, that's it. I cannot promise you that we are going to have a War Room next week, because I got to find out what's going on with Dirty Honey in Boston and the tequila. We're going to figure that out this week. So I will let you guys know. Otherwise, big birthday bash on Saturday night. Get the details on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And episode 225 of the podcast comes out at midnight tonight, featuring Mark LaBelle from Dirty Honey. So there you go.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming in the War Room and hanging
Thanks,
out.
Gary. Thanks for having us.
Wicked
Definitely.
pissa.
Can't
Jane-
wait for Saturday. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Everybody
it's going to
get
be a
your
lot
tickets.
of fun. And Jim, thank you for taking care of Wednesday.
Oh.
You tired her
she's
out. Can you
pooped.
guys see her back there?
Is she passed out?
She's
Just
passed out
about.
back here. Yeah, see?
Hey, Wednesday.
She's tired. She's spent. All right, guys. I will see you guys next week.
See you
Thanks
Saturday.
to Rotten Apple. Thanks to Jim from RPM Dynamics. We will see you guys on Saturday at Rascals. Big boy party. It's 21 plus. Get your tickets before the